I've always shared with you that I've tried all sorts of opportunities to get to a point where I know what my purpose is. And one of those things that I wanted to do was to have a center for young kids where they can be developed, right? But then the problem with the center was that I recognized that I needed a building, I needed facilities, I needed a lot of capital, I needed employees. I started realizing that what I was actually dreaming about was just so big, and I couldn't start anything because I just didn't have the money. I mean, I didn't even have money, like 20,000 rand in my account. So in order for me to do something like that, I would really need a lot of money. So I just couldn't start anything. And I remember listening to Vusi Tembekwayo while being interviewed on one radio station, and there were a whole lot of aspiring entrepreneurs calling, saying that, you know what, they haven't started their businesses because they don't have capital. And about 5 to 7 calls, people were saying the same thing. And I remember when he started responding to those people, I got so offended on their behalf. But I thought I was being offended on their behalf. But actually, I realized later that I was offended because I was one of those people who felt I've got a dream, but I need a lot of capital to start. What Vusi Tembekwayo said to those aspiring entrepreneurs is that if you are an entrepreneur and you are saying you haven't started anything towards getting the business that you're saying you want to be in, then please realize you are not an entrepreneur, because an entrepreneur would never let capital stop them from doing what they want to do. Oh my gosh, I was so offended on their behalf. I thought, me trying to, defend the people. But later I realized, as I started thinking about it thoroughly, that actually I got hurt because I didn't start anything, because I felt the same way. I felt like I needed a lot of capital to realize the dream that I had. But the more I started thinking about what he said, the more I started realizing that actually, in order to start what I need to do, or the goals that I want to achieve with my life, I already have what I need right now. I heard Jerry Savelle saying, you might not have what you need, but you are never without a seed to produce it. So when I got those two statements and they started making sense to me, I started meditating on them. I started realizing that actually there are things that I could do immediately, because starting anything really requires what you already have. I tell you, whatever dream that you have in your heart, you have it because you've got the seed available in you already, or around you, to produce it. So today I want to talk to you about the 3 things that you can start doing today, no matter where you are in this life, no matter your bank balance right now. These things anybody who has a dream can start doing today in order to start working towards achieving that goal. I am Pulaa Montz, your inner voice magnified. So as I started meditating on what I could do with the available resources that I had, the first thing that I discovered is that I needed to change my mindset. The problem was not the fact that I needed money. The problem was the fact that I thought I needed money in order to achieve my goals. So that thinking in its own was wrong. So I needed to find a new thinking that would empower me to make sure that I start something towards achieving my goals. So the first thing that you can do today is change your mindset. And I found that, I was surrounded with people who were sharing the same kind of thoughts that I had. And You know, when I heard Teresa Velfoy saying, you need to surround yourself with people who have done whatever it is that you're saying you want to do. And she said, you know what, if you don't have those people, then start buying their books, start listening to the videos that they post on YouTube, for example. I started doing that. The first thing that I started doing towards changing my mindset, I decided every single day I'm going to listen to an inspirational message. The more I listened, you know, when I was preparing myself to go to work, as I was getting ready in the morning, I would switch on a message on YouTube. I started with Teresa Velfoy because that's the woman that I knew when she spoke about 5 things successful people do before 8 a.m. Right? So I kept on listening to that same recording. It was a 12-minute recording, but I was committed to listening to that every single day. And the more I listened to her, the more I started hearing her quoting other inspirational people that she listens to. And I went and found those people's videos that they uploaded on YouTube, and I started listening more and more. Every single day I was committed to listening to inspirational messages, and after that I'll just go on about my day, normal daily duties, right? For example, you might be going to work. On your way to work, instead of listening to music, maybe say, before I listen to my music this morning while traveling to work, I'm going to listen to a video clip from YouTube on whatever subject matter that is of interest to you. Then you decide, every single morning when I get in my car or when I start walking towards getting transport to work, then I'm going to firstly listen to an inspirational message, listen to somebody who's going to encourage me to see life differently. Then I can continue again with my normal, routine of listening to music or the news or talk shows, whatever it is that you listen to, if you do listen to anything as you're traveling, right? So that was the first thing. And I recognized that the more I started listening to these people, the more my mindset started changing. I remember hearing also Teresa Velfoy saying again, utilize your drive time to get ahead. Then instead of listening to Power FM, I was a huge Power FM follower at that time. I decided from now on, in the morning as I'm driving to work, I'm going to listen to inspirational messages. And I found that the more I started doing that, the more I had energy when I got to work, the more I started looking at my responsibilities in a different light, the more I started appreciating my job, because I realized the kind of access it gave me to things that I wouldn't otherwise have access to. I mean, the telephone that you have, the internet that you have, businesses do allow you to use their resources for personal use, as long as you are responsible about it. I would use internet at work for just useless things, up until I realized that I could use it for research to grow myself. If I wanted a book, I could use the internet at work to try and find that book. If I wanted to listen to a message after hours, I could listen to a message like that. So I started recognizing the access that I had in people, in my company, in everything that I had at that time. I started looking at things differently, just from the habit of now listening to inspirational messages. I started having a different mindset about my current situation. I never anymore thought that I needed a lot of capital to start what I wanted to do with my life, right? So that's one thing that you can start doing right now. Change your mindset. Whatever it is that you think is blocking you from starting or from pursuing your dream, I tell you, that reason is not what's blocking you. What's blocking you is your mindset about the dream that you have. The second thing that you can do today is stop complaining. You know, it doesn't take much to stop complaining, but a decision from your part that whatever it is that you normally complain about, make a decision today that, you know what, you're going to have a complaints free day. This youth day, you are dedicating it to it being a day free from complaining. If you find yourself, being tempted to complain, remind yourself of this goal. Let it be a goal just for today, that today you will not complain about anything. Whether it is electricity, whether it is cold, you're going to enjoy the season, because we know it's the season for the weather to be cold. So we're not going to complain about the freezing environment that we find ourselves in. We're not going to complain about the kids that are home and stressing you because they're making noise. We're not going to complain about the husband or a partner who's just a couch potato today when they're supposed to be helping you do things in the home, right? We're not going to complain about not having money to go out today when you see people posting their outings for today. You are just not going to complain. You're not going to complain about not having a partner, not having kids, being single. You are going to enjoy whatever situation that you find yourself in today. You are going to find things to be grateful for instead. Because I found out that the more grateful you are, the more you start becoming happy. And the happier you are, the more you attract things towards you that will make you happy. Gratitude attracts more things to be grateful for. I promise you. Make it your goal just for today to have a day that is free from complaints. And you come again tomorrow. When it doesn't matter how it looks like today. You know what? You might just go back. I mean, you will go back. If you're used to complaining, you will go back to that habit, because it's just in you to complain about everything. Maybe toilet paper, somebody didn't replace the toilet paper, you will complain, right? But because it is a goal, whatever you do today, just get on with it. As long as every time you remember, then bring yourself back. Tomorrow, get on it again. Make it a goal again. Make it a goal every day from today to have a day that is free from complaining. I tell you, by 3 months, you will realize that your life will be filled with gratitude. You will be a happier person without changing anything in your circumstances but your attitude of complaining, right? So you leave that behind just for today and you uphold gratitude, because I tell you, the more grateful you are, the more you'll start seeing opportunities that you haven't been seeing. Because I believe that, when you complain, you shut your mind from the opportunities that are here right now. The last thing that I want to talk to you about today that you can do to make sure that you start pursuing your dreams is to look at what you have right now. What is it that you are good at as we speak? What is it that you have currently? We are so used to wanting so big things, right? Like big dreams that end up debilitating us, that end up demotivating us from starting. But if you can just look at what you have right now, then you'll realize that there are things that you already have in your possession. There are people that you've got access to that can help you start what you are saying is your dream, or start your journey to pursuing the dream that you have for your life. Like I said, I had a dream to inspire young kids. I just wanted a big building. But the day I realized that I had a seed in me that could produce the thing that I really want the most, and that is to inspire people to be the best versions of themselves, I realized that actually I've got my voice. That was one thing that I took for granted at first when I was thinking about a big center to develop the youth. I forgot the fact that I've got already my voice. And when I recognized that I have a voice, I started realizing that I also have a phone. I realized that sometimes I have data. So I can already record myself doing messages, or I can start typing messages, or I can start sharing whatever inspirational messages that I would find from those people that I was listening to, those messages that I kept listening to. I could share those messages whenever something inspired me. I could share it on my WhatsApp status, for example, and stop sharing the fact that I'm cooking, stop sharing the fact that, today it's very cold. Stop sharing the fact that, oh, I think I've got a touch of flu. I started using that platform, seeing it as something that I have access to right now that can deliver a message that I want to deliver to people. So there are things that you have access to right now that can take you towards the goal that you're saying you're wanting to achieve. You have been thinking about the big picture. Yes, that is where you want to go. But in order for you to go there, you can start taking small steps right now. What are those things that you have right now? I mean, so many of us have access to internet, but nobody or most people never use that access to research how they can start a business, for example, that they've always wanted to start. There are people who've done whatever it is that you're saying you're wanting to do. If you want to start a manufacturing workshop, there are people who have manufacturing workshops who started somewhere. Find their story instead of watching people live their dreams on social media. Use that access to internet to benefit your own dreams. Let these people inspire you, but don't take up most of the time. Don't take up most of the resources that you have, that you should be investing towards your own dreams, to look at other people living their dreams. So in short, the first thing that you can do is change your mindset. Change your mindset by listening to inspirational messages, reading books in the subject matter that interests you. The second thing, stop complaining. Give gratitude, because there are things, even whatever situation that you find yourself in right now, there are things to be grateful for. And lastly, there are things that you have access to right now that can help you achieve the goal that you have. I am Pulaa Montz, your inner peace and purpose coach.